Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Hamza Chowdhury. And in this video, I'd like to give you an update about the Tesla stock from our last week's video where we discussed what we expected the price action to be. As we know that it's been included in the S&P and that's coming up in later this month. So I've been trading it. I hope you've been doing well trading it. So let's just jump right into it and talk about it. So what happened this week was we had quite the price action. You can see here on my daily chart. And by the way, this is the TradingView platform. You can join free by the clicking the link below. And we had, again, on this Bollinger Band, which you guys know, if you're new to the channel, the Bollinger Band is one of my favorite technical indicators. That's, the upper band indicates a bullish momentum, and you can see that every day we're essentially trading it like we were pre-split back here in August. And so we finally, if you think about it, we essentially gapped from, $405. It was, I believe it was like 405, where we had that massive move from 405, and, we're all the way up at like 600, so we've gone up like 50% in a matter of like 2 weeks, right? So the stock definitely needed to take a breather. And basically we had these massive flushes, and people think that, especially if you're long, flushes aren't necessarily a bad thing. If you think about it, let's say you bought the stock at 405 or 410 or 440, and then you held on to it, okay? And then the people around you did the same thing and they held on to it. And now everybody's just holding on to it. Well, how do you actually get the stock price up, right? You need sellers. You need people selling the stock, and you need new buyers. Those index funds, all the guys that we've talked about, have to buy into the stock as it joins the S&P. So whoever those buyers are, they're coming in, they're buying the stock. So, but what if all of a sudden you've held on and you're like, okay, I've held on since 350 or 400, and we're at like 550, we're at 560, we're at 600, we hit 607 this past week, right? So now all of a sudden you're like, I got 50% profit, let me just sell this and move on, or let me sell part of my position, right? So what you start to notice is, okay, as the stock is ripping up, it gets to a point where in order for it to keep going up, it needs more buyers. And if everyone's already in the stock and just holding on, eventually those people are going to get tired of waiting. So what we had here was essentially some sideways action this past week. And we had finally people just sort of cashing out profits. So this day I'd say they're cashing out profits. And then we also have these catalysts that come in. We have, the Goldman Sachs price upgrade to, what was it, 780. So we have all these news catalysts that are going to help the stock. And you saw that twice this week, where we saw this sort of boost where, one, the S&P was going to include Tesla in one single day. That helped boost the stock up $20 after hours. And then we had the Goldman Sachs news, and it did the same exact thing. So when you wonder, like, well, why is this thing selling off? Well, look, guys, this is where we want to notice the levels of where are the buyers coming in. So when we traded here up in the 600 range and we flushed down, where did the buyers came in? And they came in around the 540 range. So you want to take note of those types of levels when you're looking at dip buy, or you're looking to see where, if Tesla starts to unwind, which it will after the S&P inclusion later this month, where levels can I look to either dip buy, or if I'm shorting, where should I be covering? So now that you can see that we've had the sideways action and we're getting, obviously north of 600, people sold off, cash profits, and then essentially new buyers came in. So we had this flush of buyers, and we're talking about 40, 50 point, 60 point moves in a matter of a trading session, right? So you can, assuming you're on the right side of the trade, you can obviously do really well, or you could do really bad. And, we talked about, in all of our videos, the average true range, right? So, pay attention to that. Know exactly, Tesla's not trading $10 to $20 like it was. It's trading now, 30, 40 points many days. So know what your risk can be. If you're, let's say, for example, at 600 and the true range is, let's just say 30 points, you could potentially be in the middle of that 30 points. You could be on the far end of the 30 points. You could be in the far, bottom. So understand your risk reward ratio when you're planning these trades, and know and look at the previous resistance and support levels to know what you're risking and where can you expect Tesla to come through. And so for me, what I've been doing is I've been selling the puts, the weekly puts, at a level where I don't think Tesla is going to go. And this week it actually came close. I was selling the 550 puts. We did actually hit that on Wednesday. But like I said, we bounced right back off of that, right back into the 590s. And so if you're someone who doesn't want to put, $60,000 and 100 shares of Tesla, there's several ways you can play. You can simply buy a call option at a price that you feel comfortable with. If Tesla hits it, you can actually exercise that option. Or you can, if you do have the 100 shares, you can actually just do covered calls, which is basically selling the ability for someone who might want to buy Tesla. For example, if you buy a covered call for, let's say, this Friday, December 11th at, let's say, 650, you can actually make pretty decent premium. And if Tesla hits 650 and closes over 650 on Friday, not only do you make all of that money back all the way up to 650, but you also make that premium. And it allows you to collect money while you're holding onto the stock. And let's say Tesla tanks, well, guess what? You still have your shares and you still get to keep that premium. So there's still a lot of ways, guys, to make money off of Tesla. I mean, it's just blowing up. I think like February, March, $600 calls are going for like $6,000. I mean, people are going to pay you $6,000. And if you think about it, divide that by 100 shares, that's basically $60 off of what you paid for to hold on to your shares. And so there's just a ton of ways, if you're holding on to at least 100 shares, to sell these calls and to make a bunch of premium for January, for February. And I mean, like I said, it's going for like $6,000-$7,000, just an insane amount of money just to hold on to this. So you're going to get, great returns with this stock. So with that said, again, I expect, knowing the market conditions, knowing that, we are shutting down here in California, that I don't expect a total flush, but I do expect that maybe a morning flush, or just people who are panicking. They don't want to play in the market just with all the things going on. And again, it's the holidays too. So I could see a morning panic sell, down here, potentially up into the 580s. I don't see us going back down here unless we had like a market crash down to the 540s. But, I could definitely see here, you can see the levels that we bounced, right? The 583, and on Friday you can see the 587. So the mid 580s is definitely where I'd like to, rebuy Tesla. And then, like I said, sell some covered calls as we push back up over $600. So you can see here, we traded sideways, right? Before we make, the next big push, but I could definitely see 620, 630 this week easily. But like I said, what I'd like to do is just dip by and get back in here at some levels. And, if you're not that comfortable, you don't want to go that heavy, you can obviously start off with the small size and then sort of dip by as we work our way down. But keep in mind, the news is still pretty fresh, and the inclusion doesn't happen till later this month. So we still have a lot of time to get involved. And as I mentioned in my Apple video, make sure you add this technical indicator with whatever trading platform you're using. It is called the volume profile. TradingView calls it the volume HD, and it basically allows you, this red line just indicates to you where the point of control is, where the most volume for that day traded. So where are people buying, where are they selling, where are people stuck, right? If I'm trading below this point of control, the people who bought up at that level are probably hurting, and so there's more selling pressure potentially if this thing flushes, right? And if we're trading above it, chances are the shorts are hurting, and there's potentially a chance for squeeze, which is what I felt we were really waiting for on Friday. So Friday, everybody was waiting for that 600 break. You can see the pre-market high here was right under $600, and we didn't get that in the morning, and we were just trading sideways. And you could just tell by us making sort of a higher low here that we really wanted to get up there, and we had this sort of squeezed. You can see with the volume here at the end of Friday, and we really just pushed up from all the way down from, what was it? It looks like a 594 all the way up to 602 in a matter of 30 minutes, right? So we squeezed some people out here. And again, anytime you're over the POC and you're over the VWAP, we know that the shorts are hurting. So definitely there was probably a lot of shorts covering. And then we, of course, consolidated back here. Okay, guys. So with that said, I expect, like I said, a potential morning flush just because the market conditions, state shutting down, things like that. So if that's the case, definitely a good time to dip buy so that when we do consolidate, we can get back up. And then obviously as we move up, selling a covered call, whether it be for the end of this week or a month out. But there's just a ton of opportunity here in Tesla. I hope you guys are taking advantage of it. If you enjoyed this video, I appreciate if you hit the like and subscribe button. We are a 100% free content channel. We don't sell you any programs. We don't sell you anything. We just hope to help you, and I appreciate any support you could do. And with that said, guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. Best of luck. Take care. Thank you.